this video, I'm going to be making the city of Shangri-La. Now, Shangri-La is a fictional city in a book called Lost Horizons that I read a long time ago and kind of remember the details of. But basically, it's supposed to be like a monk retreat monastery type of thing in the middle of the Himalaya mountains where nobody knows where it is, kind of a mysterious place. The book is about a pilot, I think, who crash lands in the mountains and then lives in this monastery for a while before he can leave again, and it kind of just is about his experiences there. So to do this, I first need to make a lot of mountains. Now, previously when I've made mountains, I've started from the bottom and went up, but then I would have all sorts of problems where because I went from the bottom up, the rings would not really be aligned just because of the way the grid is shaped. So some layers would be, 2 tiles thick in some places rather than just one tile thick, which then means that a window is not created, which then means that you can't do a nice even slope going all the way up. It has to be kind of weird and jagged, which I don't love. And so I want this to look kind of idyllic because it's supposed to be a fantasy place. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the middle and go outward rather than the other way around. I think it might take a little bit longer, but in the end I think it'll be worth it. So let's begin. Okay, cool. So I think this mountain actually looks really good, especially when you view it from the top. You can really see these great contours. Oops. You can really see these great contours along the sides. Okay, so the next mountain, I think if I want to make a valley in the middle here, I need to make the next mountain maybe here. Should I do one more mountain or 2 or 3? It's probably safest to do 3. I'll do 3 more. So 1 starting there, maybe 1 starting like back here, and then 1 starting over here. Perfect. In each mountain, I think I want to have, oh, that's perfect. I can go at the top of this mountain. Maybe an opportunity to build like a monastery or something. So I want the peak to be kind of an interesting shape. That is too high. Okay, so now we have the completed landscape. We've got these 5 hills, all of kind of different sizes, and the characteristics of the hills are each a little bit different. Well, actually, come to think of it, it's really just this hill, this one main hill that has this much steeper slope, and so you can see it's got more of these kind of cliff features than these, which are a little bit more gradual. I mean, there's still, some cliffs, but it's just kind of a little bit of a different look for each one. Like, I'm kind of imagining this is the main mountain. It's got this staircase leading up to the top of it, so I built this right here, which is an arch that connects to this staircase area, which goes up the side of the mountain, kind of crosses to go parallel to the way the ridge lines are going, or not, excuse me, not the ridge lines, just the contour lines of the map are going, and then it'll go up and up and up and up, flat, and then up and up and up, and finally ends up at this kind of top area that overlooks the rest of the valley. Now, I think I want to have the main monastery area down here, and then up here can be something kind of unique, some kind of special, larger temple looking over everything. And then I might even make some additional towers on the tops of these mountains, but I'm not totally sure, so we'll see about that. Okay, so I just built a section, totally not recording, totally spaced out, so let me just quickly explain what I just built, and then I'll kind of continue with my build. So, in the book, the main character crashes in some fictional place in the Himalayas, a place that doesn't exist, and then finds his way and makes it to this monastery that's hidden among these mountains, and the monastery is called Shangri-La. And then he spends time at the monastery learning whatever, doing whatever, I kind of forget, I read the book a long time ago, but anyway, he leaves having learned some important knowledge, or I think maybe he becomes immortal or something. I forget exactly what the book is, but basically the point is that it's a fictional scenario that's kind of a Western perspective of what the cultures of the Himalayas are like. And so the book itself is not that accurate, so I don't feel bad about making random things up about the way this society is structured, just because it's a fake society in the first place. So I don't think I'm misrepresenting anybody's culture or anything like that. So what I built was an arch here, an arch entrance, kind of imagining that this is the only way from the outside, at least from the ground level, that you'd be able to see what's in this monastery complex. So you'd enter through here, and then maybe they have some kind of ritual where you have to clean yourself before you go in. I know that like in a lot of places, like in India, you're not supposed to go into temples where you're just super dirty. Or really anywhere, in religious places in general, you're supposed to kind of clean yourself up before going, just out of respect, I guess. And so that's what you do here. You go through this arch, you go down, what I'm imagining is a little staircase, down to this platform by the water, wash yourself up, off, and then come back up, and then you're good to go for the rest of the place. Now, you'll notice that I walled this off, just because, for some reason, I can't exactly tell what, it killed the courtyard here, so obviously there's no courtyard area in this section, and so some part of my build, something I took away, is giving access to a lower level or something like that. I can't exactly figure out what it is, and the only way to figure it out is to build these walls like this. So that's kind of what I'm in the process of doing. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have that kind of cleaning area, let's continue into the central place. Now, I'm kind of imagining that because this monastery facility is so far deep into the Himalayas, it's really hidden away. I kind of imagine that the people who are living there or worshiping there or whatever value privacy and kind of being away from the hustle and bustle of stuff. And so I think that this kind of main central area shouldn't be some big meditation zone or anything like that. Those places should be kind of more off in the distance. So this main central place can maybe be, could it be a marketplace, or maybe some kind of central government facility, or maybe this is where they all live. So they all live in this one big central building right here. and then from this building then they can reach the other parts of the whole facility. Okay, so these are great because they're very simple. It's just kind of one shape. Everybody lives here. Maybe there's, some interest to it, like there's obviously two parts to this building, but overall it's a pretty equal place. How about a sky bridge connecting the two buildings? That could be kind of cool. It's kind of more interesting, and I should try to fill this monastery area with as many interesting, kind of quirky details as possible, just because I feel like that's kind of the type of place this is. Very unexpected, unusual, kind of unconventional at least. Oh shoot, oh good. Perfect. Now, okay, what buildings can be around it? I'm imagining everyone's living here, so it's a pretty cramped place where everyone's kind of stuffed into this small central area. And then, there should probably be paths going in the different directions. If I want to go with a path like this, I delete that. But I know that won't make an official arch because it's not, because this edge comes out like this. Maybe it is making an arch. Well, we'll see. Make another arch opposite it. Will it make a path between them? I definitely like the idea of a path going from this main building off to the exterior ones. Okay, perfect. There's a path. Awesome. Okay, so let's see where I can go with this. This path looks like it actually goes kind of deep, so that's perfect. Maybe each temple can be kind of color-coded, and it can be, each one can kind of have its own signature, meaning, or its own signature theme, or something like that. So this one, I'm realizing, is the gate to the upper level, because here, the staircase kind of comes down here, and then you'd enter the upper level through here. And so, maybe this shouldn't be a temple per se, but it's some kind of, I don't really know, something relating to this upper area. Maybe this is where people go to kind of get ready for the climb all the way up to the top. Maybe it's just like a storehouse or something full of, not oxygen tanks, because it's 1930, I guess, in the book. But just technology and backpacks and food and stuff, just so you can get to the top of this mountain here without dying or something on the way. Perfect. So that's there. And then the temple over here, this can be, let's see, what color should this be? Maybe this can be a kind of a greenish color. And what if I made it, see, I want to do something with this area because I don't love the way it's done right now. Okay, maybe I can have a kind of a squarish temple hovering over it on top of stilts. That could be cool, because the benefit of that is that I don't think it would ruin, I'm not positive, but I don't think it would ruin this area over here. I think it might just build the stilts on top of it, which is perfect. But we'll see. If I go like this, will these stilts ruin this? Oh shoot, it does. If I go smaller, will it still do that? Okay, so I gotta figure out something else. Maybe I can just have it be a cliff coming down super sharp here, just so I can make some room manually for where this temple's gonna go. Okay, so this kind of gives me a long, thin area going back into here. Maybe to kind of give it more character, I can make it even longer and even thinner. Okay, and then if the entrance, well, actually, I should think about my the arches that are going to lead into this. So the arch will probably have to come through. I wonder if that'll even work. Hope so. Oh, let's make it the green color, I think. Yeah, the green color was what it was supposed to be. So I'm having difficulty making the paths going through this courtyard here. Maybe if I delete that house, actually, it'll create a path. because I think last time I was making a path in the house adjacent to where I wanted to build it was getting in the way. Oh, perfect. Yeah, okay, that was the problem, the house in the way. So now I think if I want to be able to have the path come out this direction, I need to create another arch across from this section here. The arch would have to go up right there though, which is a problem because that section is there. If I deleted this and created the green arch over here. I wonder if I have to just destroy any of this. Oh, and then this has to be the same color, so that's gotta be green. Perfect. Okay, so now we have this great path going right through here, and then if I want to be able to connect it to this kind of main area, maybe, I mean, I guess I could do some kind of intermediate thing. I would love it for it to come down this way and join up with the path here, but I guess I can't do that because it's right up against the side of this courtyard building. So what if I move this just one over? I wonder if that would change the path, or the ability of the path to create itself. Okay, no, still a problem. What if I made an arch like this? Perfect, okay, that path gets created. And then, oh, this is probably the problem. This corner here. Yeah, so I guess I have to move this whole thing a little bit back. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that long path gets created. I wonder if it would still exist without this arch right here, because I kind of want to minimize the number of arches I build in order to facilitate these garden paths. Great. Okay, the path gets preserved. That's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. So, okay. Now, if that path goes here, kind of diverges, one goes there, one goes up here, and then this section is where the real temple is, and this can maybe be, maybe I could have a second level up here with these arches kind of coming down, and then whatever the temple is kind of an interior thing in this courtyard right here, underneath this area. That could look cool, yeah. Oh, maybe it's a cave. Maybe it's a cave in the hill. That would be cool. Perfect. Okay, so that can be this part of the monastery for now. It's like this nice entrance here. It goes right into this back section where there's some kind of courtyard or something right underneath the cliff up here. Perfect. Okay, so that's that for now. Oops. And then if we want to go directly across and see where this road will go, maybe it'll take me something interesting. Oh shoot, it curves. I don't love that. Let's see where it goes. I love that. I love how it makes that right there. That's exactly what I want. Perfect. Okay. And then I could have another road coming out in this direction. That's a great path right here. That's a great path. Another path comes in this direction, and so it looks like it won't make a path when the top tile of the arch is this five-sided shape. So let's move it in one closer. Oh, but then the problem with that is that then the five-sided shape is on the opposite side, which causes the same problem I had originally. So maybe if I move the arch one over, let's see, what would that do? That's good, yeah, let's move the arch one over. Now I don't really love the garden walls that it makes. I kind of prefer just the paths, but that's okay. That's totally okay. And so if I want to make this area kind of have a different character than any of the other areas, I think I should make maybe a more like castle-y building, maybe with some towers and things like that. I think that could be cool right behind this wall. So there's two star shapes right here. That could make something cool. Yeah, let's see how that looks. Is this symmetrical from this point on? That could be cool. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. I've got this kind of X shape. That's really cool. And then maybe this could have like satellite areas where people can worship, and little towers kind of out on the side, like that. Perfect. Looks great. Now, what else can I build in this area? Maybe should this wall be kind of a stronger element in the landscape? I think it could be. Yeah, let's have it come right up to the side of this monastery here. Just to, maybe there's some kind of division that existed in the past. That obviously doesn't exist today between these two areas, but it's kind of got still as vestige right here. Oh, but then there's no path anymore right here. I wonder why that, oh, it's because of this tower. Shoot! Do I have to go one more? I think maybe, yeah. Okay. Hopefully that'll make a nice path over here. Oh shoot, but then I have this. Perfect. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Maybe in this area I can have two kind of intermediate orange towers just to kind of welcome people in. Maybe even an extra arch, just for fun, right in the middle here. Perfect. Like that. I hope it'll still keep the path. I think it will. Yeah, it'll keep the path. Perfect. What else could I do? Ooh. Oh no, that wouldn't work. Okay, so let's leave that for now, and then we can come back to it later if I want to add anything else. Oh wow, it seems like I've done the three areas on the lower level of the monastery area. I think it's probably time to go uphill. So let's start with the big guy. This one should probably be in kind of a similar color code as this building down here. So if that's kind of the lighter blue, then maybe I can make this top building kind of a darker blue. So let's just start building the perimeter wall like this. This is kind of a really long banana-shaped building right here. Wasn't really expecting that. And then as people come up the stairs, they turn. Okay, there's an arch. It's got to be an arch like this. Just to welcome people in. Or maybe, actually, I'm kind of sick of arches. This area doesn't need any grass, so there's no point in having any arches anywhere. Maybe you could just have a bunch of, or you know, because this is so high in the mountains, I kind of imagine it was a little bit hard to build, so I should try to keep it as simple as possible. And I can do that, yeah, I guess just maybe some intervals like this. There's a section that's 2 stories instead of 1, but overall there's not really a whole lot of glamour in this section of the monastery. And then maybe this section, this can kind of get all the attention. So I can build another temple up here, and this is a little bit more interesting, more luxurious, whatever you want to call it. So this can be maybe that's got some stories to it, and then there's another layer like this. Maybe this is 2 stories, and then 1 story all the way around. Okay, that's good. That's good. You've got this kind of lower area. Maybe that's for the brunt of processing people to get into this upper area here or whatever. And then the upper area is where they get to go and go to the top and step out on this platform and view the rest of the valley from down beneath them. That's perfect. Oh, and I love how it's got this stone base too. Totally didn't even plan on that. You know, maybe I can add some variation in color. Let's maybe make a white ring around the top, a little like white necklace or something. Maybe these, all the second floors of these are also white. Perfect. That looks great. Oh, and I like how it makes this area too. Totally unintentional. I think it's because I built this right here, but I kind of like how it builds out this platform on this side of the. So maybe I can make it even larger and have like a little. What can I build here? Like a observation deck or a little tower or something. Something that kind of ties into the rest of this base, but isn't so large. Yeah, honestly, that little tiny thing is probably good enough. Okay, perfect. And then let's move on to one of these other hills. Now, this monastery area, maybe I can leave that one blank. For now, at least. So the orange guy, this will have maybe a more small scale type of thing on top of this tower. just because this is or on top of this hill, just because this is I think one of the lowest hills around. I mean, I think it's the lowest if you don't count this right here. Yeah, I think it's the lowest. So this can kind of be the least impressive of all of them. Maybe it's just like, you know, a single tower or something at the top of the hill, maybe with a little overlook observation deck type of thing. So what would that look like? There's no special shapes up here. Yeah, maybe even just a big kind of chunky tower type building like this. That's probably good enough. Maybe a balcony over the top, so people can look over everything and, I don't know, do yoga or something. Perfect. Let's leave that for now. And then for the next shade, and I think the third shade, has got to be the green one over here. So, oh, this has got an interesting top. This could be cool. Oops. So, okay, so the top is definitely very interesting. It's also symmetrical, which is a big plus. Now, I kind of like the idea of skinny towers. It doesn't really jive with the whole plan down here, but honestly, I mean, how important is that? You know, I think it actually is important. These two should have some kind of language between them. So I think what I can do is I'll make a ring around the second floor of this so that it drops nice columns down onto the first, like this. And then on the corners of this ring, I can build cool towers. And these towers, these can come down like this. Cool! Oh, that looks cool. Maybe I can make some kind of hierarchy between them. So maybe these guys on the sides can be a little bit less tall. Just to make it more of a specific looking building rather than just make it look like I just randomly clicked everywhere. Actually, maybe the back ones can be even shorter. Maybe the front one can be even taller. That's nice. That's great. And this can be open. Perfect. Okay, so that's that kind of castle area. And then I have two more locations, neither of which are near any feature. I mean, so this one up here is near to this bluer lower level. The orange one over here is next to the orange lower level. The green one, the green lower level. But this one, I mean, I guess you could say it's attached to the well, but that's not really a super strong link. Maybe I could just make kind of a guard tower or something, because if this is the entrance, there's got to be someone looking over the entrance and making sure to make sure no one's getting in. So this could just be like a tall, skinny building just in the corner here, just to look over, make sure no one's invading or anything. Yeah, perfect. Perfect, like that. I wonder if I could even do kind of a cascading staircase type of thing connected to here. It could be, I wonder what that would look like. Great, that's awesome. So you've got this little staircase going to the top of the mountain, leading up to this guard tower area over here, and then it makes an arch, which perfectly makes a path right between kind of the bathhousey area and then the main residential place that everyone probably has to go through. Now, I would love the path to go all the way to the edge here, but I don't know how realistic that is, given that, well, let's see. No harm in trying. Like this, and then I wonder what'll happen if we go like that, maybe. Yeah, like that, perfect. Nice. Great, so I have this path going right through here. I honestly think that looks really good, ideal. Maybe I could Instead of building this path like this, could I have it kind of horizontally like this, and then it could connect to, that's too complicated. I think I'm going to keep it like this for now. And then this is kind of turning into a main mountain feature. So let's build a fort up here. Maybe these people aren't super into self-defense, but maybe back in the day there was some kind of problem, and so they had to build a big square fort area like this. And then the fort can maybe have a tower in the middle. Just like a fort like that, and then a nice big fat tower right there. Maybe the same color as the residential area. That doesn't look really great. I don't really like the way that looks. It looks kind of weird. Let me make this shorter, see if that would work. I mean, that's okay, but I think I should just keep the fundamental... Yeah, maybe that could be a tiny little house in the middle, but the fundamental nature of this can be a fort. So it's got little kind of turrets like this all the way around. Nothing too showy, more functional than anything else, but it does a good job in kind of keeping everything safe. Great, so that's that section. And then do I have another peak left still? Yes, I have one more peak. Maybe this thing can kind of be its own basically tower type of thing. I mean, I could, I guess, connect it to this orange area over here, kind of the orange sector, or the green sector. But it already has a big tower feature. Does it need two? Well, is this symmetrical? Is it symmetrical like that one? Because if it is, that's a perfect opportunity to do kind of a twin tower type of thing. Yeah, it is. It's symmetrical. Perfect. That could be cool. So, yeah, maybe it can be the same kind of pattern as this area over here. Maybe a slightly different shade, though. We've got a front tower in the middle that's pretty tall, and then side towers that are not as tall, but, still nice. And then in the back is nothing, basically. The back is just a one-story thing linking everything together. And so are the sides. Is that too tall? Cool! Yeah, I think it matches up with kind of the vibe of that without being too similar. And then maybe to emphasize the fact that these two things are a part of... Oh! I totally didn't even mean to do this. But I chose a color that was right in between the blue section and the green section. So it kind of has 1 foot in each little territory area. That's actually really cool. What else could I build? Maybe there's little farmlands kind of around this main central residential area, just to kind of, or excuse me, farmhouses, just so that they are, maintaining all these gardens and stuff and whatnot. Not everyone lives in this central building right here. That's pretty good. What else can there be? Honestly, I think this is pretty good. My computer, you can probably tell, is really lagging. It's not very fast just because it's trying to load all this stuff. Like even the building I just created, it still has to create the windows for it. So let me just give the computer a minute to kind of chill out, and then I can come back to the build. Whew. Okay, so that took a minute, but I think it's pretty much done rendering. Now, my computer's going crazy. I have like no memory. I've already filled the map with a ton of these tiles, which is totally making my computer slow. So I think this is the limit of how far I'm willing to go on this build. To be honest, it totally went differently than I thought it would go. I thought that it would be a lot less colorful, a lot more unified. I didn't really realize I was going to make so many interesting different shapes all in one map, all kind of in different sectors. But I'm happy with the way it turned out, and I think it's time for the grand tour. So you come through here, you enter kind of this washing area, I'm imagining it is. So maybe in this culture, whatever the culture is, it's kind of just a made up thing. You just have to be clean before you enter any of the temple spaces. So you'd come down the staircase, down to this lower level, wash yourself down there, come up here, and then exit through here, exit through this path, and then go through here, and then you are in kind of the main area. I'm imagining this is like a big, basically, dormitory for everybody, all the monks who are living in this facility. They, maybe there are some people who live in the individual worship spaces, but everyone's kind of crowded in here, and then they can go disperse and do whatever they need to do privately for whatever religion they're a part of. And so some people will come out and then they'll go left and they'll go into this green area. The green area, you can see, is pretty much just a couple of simple courtyards, like 1, 2, and then one kind of behind here, where this one is just kind of a big gathering place. This one's kind of an intermediate courtyard, and then this one seems like it's got a little bit more detail because it has this this roof kind of horseshoe shape in the back area. And then if they want, there's no official staircase that I built, but maybe there's some kind of interior thing inside the mountain. If they want, they can come up here and enjoy the view from one of the taller mountains on the map, and look out kind of over everything from up here. I think this is actually a pretty great view. It's too bad from any tower or from any of these mountaintops, you can see all the other mountaintops except your own, so you can't really appreciate the beauty of wherever you're living in. But if you don't want to go to the green area, or if you want to go to the green area but you are maybe split between whatever, denomination this is and whatever denomination this is, then you can go in kind of this in-between space. And this is maybe more leaning towards the green, just because the form of the castle on the top is very similar to the form of the castle up here. You can see it's got the front tower, which is much taller than the ones in the back, and they kind of descend like this until they're at one level in the back. And that's kind of got a similar view, so I'm just going to skip over that part. And then if you want to, actually I'm going to save that one for last because I think that one's the coolest one. So then there is this orange area. It's got kind of an interesting flip where the castle part is on the bottom and the observation area is a pretty low-key thing on the top. But let's start at the bottom. So you come in through this courtyard here, kind of another gathering space type of thing, a little bit similar to the courtyard I have in this corner where it backs up against the mountain. And then you can see you come out of this courtyard, go through this path, through this intermediate orange arch, and the orange color I think sets the viewer up, or the experience, I don't know what you'd call it, the walker, I guess, worshipper coming through here. It sets them up for the orange castle that's right behind this area. And this orange castle, pretty unique, probably the most significant castle-y building on this lower level. This is the largest building, but it's a very kind of low-key architectural design. And then, so this castle, just another worship space with these other kind of smaller worship towers around the side, just if you want to get a more small scale private experience, whatever. And then the reason that this observation tower on the top of the mountain is the smallest one is because this is the smallest mountain. So if we go on a side view, you can see that this is beneath the level of all the other adjacent hilltops. So they don't really need to invest in a super nice castle because realistically people aren't going to be focusing on that anyway. They might as well make a mark on the ground level right by everything else. Then you've got this building here. I'm imagining that this whole scenario is maybe like the same religion but different sections of that same religion. And so in some ways they cooperate, in some ways they don't really cooperate. Obviously when they have their own towers and worship areas, whatever, they're not really cooperating, but they do cooperate in this section, which is just like a defense area maybe. So they kind of all share the responsibility of keeping this valley safe from people from the outside. So you've got this staircase, kind of I'm imagining some kind of covered walkway, staircase type of thing, going up this hill into this little castle area here that's got views over wherever people are usually coming from, because remember this is the entrance, so people are usually coming from this direction. And so they just kind of make sure everything is good over here. And then at the top, you've got this little orange, or not orange, the kind of plum colored building, just to match the color scheme of this plum building down here, which is also one of the communal buildings on this whole campus. Okay, so now it's time for what I think is the coolest part of the build, which is the blue section. So the blue section, it's on, most of the stuff for the blue section is on this tallest mountain right here. If we go to the side, you can see this is clearly the highest space. Even the bottom of this castle is pretty much the same level as the top of any of the other castles. And so this, I think, is kind of the dominant sect or whatever. Now, like the other sects, it has its own courtyard area in the bottom with another castle area. Maybe the castle area is on top, or maybe it's on bottom like with the orange guy. But for this, they actually have another building, which is just kind of like maybe a staging building or something, where people get like equipment for going up to the high altitude. I'm kind of imagining like when people climb Mount Everest and they go, and there's all sorts of special equipment that they need, like oxygen tanks and stuff. But obviously, this is the 1930s, I think, as when the Lost Horizons book was written. I mean, I guess I don't really have to go by the logic of the book, but whatever, I am. And so whatever equipment they need, food, supplies, extra jackets, extra backpacks, Sherpa, whatever, those people live down here and they sell things to travelers who are going up to the top. Then you kind of come through this alleyway, ravine, valley, whatever you want to call it, go through the arch here, and then climb the stairs. The stairs go up pretty sharply here, and then kind of go to the side, making little switchbacks as they go up the mountain, just because it's hard to go directly up in one straight line. It's easier to go on, smaller slopes. And then finally you get to the top, not actually the total top, but the intermediate area, where you've got this courtyard here, this really nice looking courtyard, which is, I don't even know what the function of these courtyards are, just kind of a gathering space or something. Maybe people live up here, maybe they don't, maybe it's like an educational space, maybe it's just empty, who knows, defense, whatever. But that's what this is. And then from the courtyard, they can exit, and they can go to two places. They can go down this alleyway. I'm make an arch right here, actually. That'd be nice. Down this alleyway right here, down the steps, into this kind of, maybe it's like a tea room or something. Like a place where they can just relax, look over the view. Maybe it's not a super religious space, just kind of a casual lookout area. But then the alternate option is to go up here, up to the main castle space. Now I think this is super cool. Obviously it's really bulky in the inside, so maybe there's like a big statue or something that's being protected on the inside. I don't really know what that would be. Like I know in India there were these cool caves that were built into the walls called Ajanta caves that had the statues of the Buddha in the back of them. And then so the whole purpose of the cave was kind of, actually not the whole purpose of the cave, but I guess the cave did protect the Buddha in a sense because it was in the elements. So that's what I'm kind of imagining is here. Maybe like the Parthenon, actually. Or is it the Parthenon or the Acropolis? Are those the same thing? Whatever. You know in Athens when they have the big Greek-looking building on the top of that hill? Well, I think originally there was this big statue of Athena or Zeus, I'm not totally positive, on the inside, and the kind of temple around it was just to protect it from the elements, basically. And so that's what I'm kind of imagining is here. There's some kind of religious artifact on the inside that's being protected. That's why it's got such a bulky shape compared to the other other castles, which are usually like a big tower. And that has a great view. That's just looking out over everything. So that's definitely the primo place to live in this whole build. Okay, so I think that's my whole build. That's my monastery, Shangri-La, whatever you want to call it, build. Not totally accurate to the story of Lost Horizon, but still pretty cool. I think it's now time for the rating. So this build definitely gets a +1 and maybe even +2 for how cool I think the mountains are. I have made mountains before. I made them in my Pompeii video, but because I went from the bottom up, they didn't really turn out super well. They ended up being super jagged and there were a lot of flat tops, and I really didn't like the way that looked. And so this time what I did was I started from the top and then went down to make sure that at each level I would only go down one increment, and I would never be forced to go across two, which would effectively ruin the roof shape. It would make a flat shape. So I've got these really nice kind of topographic lines going down these hills, which I think looks really cool. So that's like a +2. I think that's honestly, that alone makes this like one of the coolest that alone makes this one of the coolest builds I've done. And then on top of that, I think it gets another plus for all these different neighborhoods. I think it's pretty cool how they all follow a similar typology where they've got like a courtyard and they've got a castle, but they kind of each put their own little twist on it depending on their location, depending on maybe little cultural differences between the different denominations. But regardless, I think it makes for a really cool environment. I love the paths, also a +1 for these paths. I think I did a pretty good job of actually connecting everything all the way from the beginning. I mean, not totally, like the very beginning doesn't have a super good connection, but in general, everything here is linked with a path. So you could follow a path up to at least the courtyard of the castle area of every single section. And then obviously some places where there isn't a path, like there's no staircase here, I'm kind of imagining it's maybe inside the hill or something like that. And then also a +1, something about the staircase back here, kind of the staircase and courtyard combo. I don't really know what it is, but something about that is super unique that I haven't really seen in Townscaper before, and I'm definitely proud of having made it in this video. Speaking of the paths, by the way, just to go back to the path point, I think this might be the first time that I've ever successfully gotten the 4-way path intersection that builds this. I don't even know what that is. Is that a globe? A globe or a sphere or something? It's got some kind of texture on it, but I can't tell exactly what that is. Well, anyway, that's the first time I've ever gotten to see it. And I think it's the perfect location because it's right at the center, right at the intersection of all these different options of different places to go. Oh, also, here, look at this. When you go out, when you zoom out really high, you can see the topographic shape really well. You can see how the contours change color slightly as they go around these corners, and even kind of as they go into these little, not ridges, but little like ravines or gulches or whatever, you can see these like slightly dark colored lines. I think probably because the lines of the roof are closer together so that when you zoom out, it appears darker than it is in real life. But I think that looks so incredibly cool. I definitely, if I do more mountains, I definitely want to do them in this exact way. Honestly, if I could just keep adding pluses to this, I would, because this is definitely my favorite build so far. I really love how it's got a unique look compared to all my other builds. I mean, I've done mountains before, but that doesn't even compare to what this looks like. I just think this is so different from anything that I've built or anything that I've seen. So I'm definitely proud of doing this. By the way, if anybody wants to use this as a template, I'll link the link to where you can copy and paste the template for just these mountains, and then you can build whatever you want on top of them. So let me know what you build in the comments, I guess. Okay, now for the minuses. I would probably say it gets a minus for how slow it was at the end. Now, I think because I let my computer cool down for a little bit, it's actually pretty fast now. I can get some smooth movement as I scroll around, but earlier, as I was just finishing up these towers, it was really clunky. I'd have to wait a really long time for it to refresh the paths and to refresh the roofs and everything. And so this build definitely took a lot longer than it would have taken otherwise, not even including the fact that I had to make these mountains. Overall, this build took, actually this can be my second con, this build took 2 days, so it took one 8-hour section, or excuse me, it took one like 3-hour section and then another 2-hour section tonight. So this is definitely the longest time I've ever spent on one build, with the exception of probably my Heaven, Hell, and Alien series, but I split those into 3 videos, so I wouldn't totally count those as one build. So overall, this build gets a pretty good 9.
Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for listening.